Welcome to Yummy Interactive's demonstration of GameShield. Over the next few minutes, I'll be demonstrating how GameShield can be used to protect and sell your digital products, and how you can create incremental revenue using some of the new features in GameShield. Our goal with GameShield is to 1. Protect your IP and prepare it for distribution, and 2. Make your game more accessible to players and to create more opportunities for revenue generation for you, the publisher. In order to wrap a game, I'm going to use the GameShield License Manager, and I'm going to start my new project using the File, New Project Wizard menu. I'm going to run the wizard in simple mode, and I'm going to use iron wrapping. Iron wrapping is our anti-hacking and anti-cracking protection. I'll enter some metadata about the project, and I'll select a folder to save my project files into. There are three main license models. The first license model is node locked, which means they must activate the game in order to play the game. This is typically used in a buy and download scenario as opposed to a trial setting. Second is trial mode 1, which is an absolute trial period measured in days from the first execution, so that's your standard 14-day trial, 30-day trial, 10-day trial, etc. The next trial model is trial model 2, which is a cumulative execution time trial measured in hours and minutes. This is your typical 30-minute trial, 10-minute trial, 5-minute trial, etc., or 1-hour trial. The next two trial models, always execute and bypassed, are more advanced features that I'm not going to cover today. The most common trial model in games is measured in hours and minutes, so I'm going to select trial model 2. I'm going to leave this trial model at the default 30-minute trial you can see here. And the background check frequency I'm also going to leave as default. This is how frequently GameShield checks in the background to see whether the trial has expired or not. I'm also going to leave this as default. Kill host once expired means once the trial time is up, the game will exit. These URLs are optional, and I'm going to skip over them for now. The next step in the process is to select the game itself. So I browse for the folder, and then I select the main host file name, which is the main executable for the game. This next screen is a very important part of GameShield. Not only does it allow you to protect other executables such as DLLs, OCXs, it also allows you to protect your intellectual property, your data files, levels, music, images, etc. So I'm going to embed a few things here. I'm going to embed some folders, the images folder for example. Give it some encryption and compression. I'm also going to embed the music. Give it some encryption and compression. What I've done here is I've embedded two different folders, each with a different encryption and compression algorithm that further obfuscates the executable and makes it considerably more difficult for a cracker to get into the files. This next step is code rivet, so I'm going to skip over that for now. It's a more advanced feature. The checkpoint license server is our serial number fulfillment server. So this is the server that will generate serial numbers upon each purchase, or you can pre-generate them if you want to send them off in bulk. The checkpoint server is also the server which the game contacts in order to validate a serial number once it's been input into the game. You can also optionally digitally sign your game in this step now. However, I'm going to skip over that. You can also digitally sign after the game has been wrapped using GameShield. Once I select finish, you can see that the project comes up, and it is a complete project. You can see by the number of tabs that there are a lot of features in GameShield which require configuration. However, the wizard has set them up entirely for you. So I can save my project and compile. Excellent. Now that it's done compiling, I can run the game. You can see our default nag screens pop up. These are totally customizable HTML nag screens. A little bit later in the demonstration you'll see some more options for what these can look like, but the bottom line is they're 100% HTML. You can totally customize them to how you want them to look. You can see it saying that my trial will expire in 30 minutes. I'm going to play the game. You can see the game launches. There's another screen on the exit of the game. Close. And that's it. That's the basics of wrapping a game using GameShield. The next point I'd like to demonstrate is our new in-game activation feature. The traditional experience requires the user to click on some sort of purchase link. It will launch outside of the game into an external browser. They'll of course fill out their name, credit card information, etc. Purchase the game outside of the game, wait for an email to come in their mail. Once they get that email, they'll copy and paste a serial number, go back into the game, enter that serial number, and then click play now, and the game will launch. With our new in-game activation, you can reduce the friction between playing games and paying for games. So our goal is to make the transaction process as clean and simple as possible, and I'll demonstrate that now. The screen that's popped up here is another example of our HTML nag screens. You can see it looks totally different from the ones I showed you earlier, and it's very customized to the brand and to the game itself. As I had mentioned previously, typically when you would click this Buy Now link in a game, it would launch an external site. When I click it in ours, it takes you to the same screen and allows you to fill out the same information within the game itself. Once I've filled out the information, I can select Buy Now. It will process the payment, activate the game, and the game is activated. They click Play Now and they can launch and play the game right away. The next feature I'd like to show you is our DLC upsell feature. If in-game activation is the process of securing paying customers, then the DLC upsell is the process of remonetizing those same customers. The DLC upsell gives you the ability to communicate to customers who have purchased your game after they've downloaded and played it. I'd like to demonstrate that using a game that I've already purchased and activated. You can see I can launch the game will play. With the DLC upsell feature, you have control over whether or not a screen pops up after the game is run. This content is totally driven by your website and it's live and dynamic. This allows you to maintain the conversation with the customer who is playing your games. You can provide them with information on upgrades, new expansion packs, maps, or even microtransaction products like swords and shields. You control the content and you control when the customer sees it. In this specific example, we've been playing Ranch Rush 1, and now that Ranch Rush 2 has been launched, the publisher has decided to inform its users and give them the option to buy. Thank you for taking the time to view a demo of GameShield, our in-game activation feature, and our DLC upsell feature. In conclusion, I'd like to say that GameShield is a flexible rights management product that balances IP protection and revenue creation. For more information, please contact Christopher Henneberry at sales@yummy.net or at 604-240-6824. Thank you.